Hello and welcome to LearnPythonTutorial.com, and today we're just going to cover Python string basics. This is a very brief overview of a string. We're going to focus on what a string is, how to create a string, and a couple other key points to go along with a string. A string is a collection of data. The data in a string is in a certain sequence or an order. Data can be a text or a collection of bytes. Today we're just going to focus on the text because this is a brief overview and I don't want to put too much on you guys. So, for me to show you what a string is, we're going to go ahead and bring up our Python interpreter. So open your terminal or your command prompt, type in, Mac users type in Python 3, and hit return, and Windows users type in Python and hit enter. That brings up your interpreter. And for me to demonstrate to you what a string is, we're going to use something called a print statement. I know we haven't spoke about print statements before, but it's very simple. What we put in a print statement, Python will just simply print it back to us on the next line. So let's just go ahead and do print. So you type print, parentheses, and another parentheses. That's a print statement. Anything inside the parentheses is the argument. So let's do, we're going to create a string now inside for our argument. And we're going to do our first type of string, syntax, I should say, our first syntax. Because there's technically 4 different syntaxes you can use for a string. So let's go ahead and do our first one. It's going to be a single quote and say, hello world, and close that out with another single quote and close out the parentheses and hit return. We get printed back hello world. So this is our string. We gave it quotes, and within those quotes we say hello world. Now this is just a sequence, I'm sorry, I was going to say syntax, sequence of data. It's an order. So hello world, each character technically is his own data, and it's in a specific order, which gives us a sentence that says hello world, or a string. So let's do another print. So let's do this again, and we're going to use a different syntax for a string, which is double quotes, and say hello world again, and we're going to close it out with another double quote and parentheses, and hit return or enter, and you get hello world. Same exact thing, same exact thing returned to us. Let's look at another one. Print, parentheses. Now we're going to do triple single quotes, hello world, and triple single quotes, and close out the parentheses, hit return or enter, and hello world. Pretty simple, right? Let's look at another one. Print, parentheses, triple double quotes, hello world, and triple double quotes, and close out the parentheses, and hit return, and we get hello world. And spell hello correctly, but that is hello world. So we just looked at the 4 syntaxes to create a string. Pretty simple to create a string. Now, I want you to focus on these right here. These we'll get into deeper in chapter 4 of this tutorial series, but these can be multiple line strings. Just remember, these can be multiple line strings. I'm not going to demonstrate it here. We'll get into it in chapter 4. Alright, so we created 4 strings here. Very simple to do. And the print statement, like I said, we never covered this before, but print, parentheses, anything inside that is the argument, and then parentheses, and it prints it back to us. Pretty simple. Alright, so, like I said, Python strings come in a sequence, or an order. So each letter is actually, or each letter, number, space, or special character is its own data. So, if you look at it here, here's a string. This is a string. That's our string up here. Down here is something called an index. The index always starts at 0. So in our order, T is 0, H is 1, I is 2, S is 3, and so on. So we look at it here, and we can actually call and tell Python to return us a certain letter at a certain index spot. I hope you guys are understanding this. So let's go ahead and bring up our interpreter. I'm going to do something called a slice. Don't focus on what a slice is or anything like that. We'll get into that in chapter 4. Let's do print. Once again, I'm going to use single quotes. I'm going to say hello world. Oops, world. Having trouble spelling today. Sorry about that. Single quote, parentheses. I forgot I was going to slice this. So I do a square bracket, and I want to get the E. So to get the E, I need to figure out what the index is. So it always starts at 0. The index always starts at 0. The index always starts at 0. I said that 3 times to remind you. The index always starts at 0. H is 0. E is 1. So we want to get E. We're going to put 1 and close it out the square bracket, and then the parentheses, and hit return, and it gives us E. Cool. So basically what we just did there is we went to the syntax, or we went to the index, not the syntax, the index of the string, and said, I want whatever's at position 1. And it gave us back E. Alright, let's try this one more time. Print, parentheses, hello world. And this time we want to get the W. So H, or the beginning of the string is always 0. So H is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, we want to get 6. We put 6, we close out the square brackets, close out the parentheses, and hit return, and we get W. So this is just reinforcing that a string is a order of data. It's a sequence of data. In programming, we say sequence, not order. So it's a sequence of data. Each one of these letters is its own data. So we just went through and said we want the 3rd position. Or in our case, when we did that, we want the 6th position. So we go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we got W. That's a sequence, and this is the index number of where that letter is living. Alright, so we'll get more into sequences and order of data in Chapter 4. Like I said, this is just an overview. Another important point that you need to know about strings are they're immutable. We cannot change a string once it's created. So the only way we can change a string once it is created is by recreating a string. When we start working with variables, you'll see this. So, and in Chapter 4, we'll discuss this. Let's see. Let's just do one more string so you have a good understanding. Oh, I know what I want to show you. I was having a brain fart. I couldn't remember what I want to show you, but now here we go. When you're making a string, if I do a single quote and say hello, do it again, world, and close out the double quote and the parentheses, hit return, up, syntax error. We're also going to have a syntax error if we do. The reason why we have a syntax error is when you start your string with a single quote, you got to end your string with a single quote. Because Python's going to go, alright, I see there's a string starting here with a single quote. I'm going to look for the next single quote. And it keeps going. It doesn't see the single quote. Next one is, let's do print, parentheses. I'm going to do single quote, I'm a programmer, single quote, close it out, and hit return, up, syntax error. What happened here? Well, we opened with a single quote, then we close the single quote here, and Python goes, M. I don't know what M is. I don't know what A is. I don't know what PRO, programmer, is. And then another single quote, and it goes, I don't see another single quote, so there's no string there. That's the syntax error. A way to work around this is we're going to do print, parentheses, double quotes, I'm a programmer, and then close out double quotes, and parentheses, hit return, there we go. There's our string. So what happened there? Python goes, oh, double quotes, so anything in here is going to be treated as its character. So and then there's a single quote, so it's going to be treated as a single quote, a programmer, and then we close the quote over here, so it's like, oh, here's the whole string. Cool, that works. So that is strings, and a basic overview of strings. We are going to dig deeper in Chapter 4 and learn a lot more about strings. So this was just meant to show you what a string is, how to create a string, and just a couple workarounds of strings. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on our YouTube page or our website at learnpythontutorial.com. And we'll see you in the next tutorial on List. See you tomorrow.